Hello, and welcome back to my Launch Complexes dev stream of RP-1, where I just installed Vale's changes to real fuels, so let's get some part upgrades. Yeah, not touching balloon tanks. Okay. What's this have? Okay. Can always reorganize it later. And we silence. Now, that gets rolled out, and we will do another lunar landing. And right, I have to try to design my Venus lander. Okay, so our limitations were at somewhere around 860 kilograms is the max for for Venus. Hey, Squirrel. I did not mute. Hopefully you can still hear me. I'm just studying the how to make this lander work. Because I'm not, sorry, 860 kilograms is the limit. And I probably then didn't say anything else because I didn't have anything else to add to how the heck do I deal with this problem. Because this has to exist for some amount of time. So I'm pretty sure that the whole shebang can't last throughout an entire orbit. So I think what I have to do is attempt to get data from it on its initial approach, which should be fine. We only have to make up like 3 hours. Idea being, if we send this into the atmosphere, it takes about an hour to land, and then it sits 2 hours on the ground. So this just has to burn retrograde enough to delay its capture burn, and then its time there by the 3 hours required. So let's do that, and then if I turn all the experiments on, one day, 12 hours. That's fine. It's marginally worse than that because of comms transmission, but like not appreciably so. Yeah, 1 watt is not going to make a difference. So if we decouple it a day before arrival, that should give us plenty of time to set up a different arrival for that. I'm not going to try to do a thing where I maximal style have multiple Venus reentry probes, because that's a bit risky. This is set to early lunar. Hopefully this will be fine. Yeah, in reality, you don't have to ride each of them individually through reentry. But in my case, if I'm not riding a probe in reentry, it gets poofed. Let's check far on Venus. That, I don't like that. So let's offset our center of mass. Let's see what happens. Not a whole lot. That's getting a little better. Doesn't really seem to be making a difference. Don't understand why the CM curves are altitude 80, 95 kilometers, Mach 5. Don't actually recall what orbital velocity of Venus is, but probably something on the range of that. Okay, so Venus's escape velocity is 10.36 kilometers per second. So assuming we're entering about escape velocity, it's going to be something like that. Doesn't materially change things. Yeah, why is that not? Why are we just not being stable? Oh. Why does FAR think that that's random? FAR thinks that the wrong thing is the root part. That's nice. So let's reload it. Badger Masher, I thought Venus was a little lower, but I guess give or take, it's about the same as Earth. Okay, let's see how this works. Yes, now it's working correctly. But wow, that looks real bad. Yeah. That's real bad. Why is it so wrong? Oh, because I was going in the wrong direction. That's why. Nope. That's weird. Is it not voxelizing the proc part correctly? No, it is. Okay. Broadly speaking. Yeah, 7.8 versus 7.2 is, that sounds about right. Well, 7.75 or whatever it is at 200 by 200. At 185 at 7797. That one I know by heart. 7798. Okay, so why is the CM curve so screwy? Why does it want to be at minus 20 degrees alpha? Okay, that sorted it out a little bit. Yeah, for some reason there's a slight offset with respect to the z-axis. Interesting. Nope, that made it error again. Super weird. I don't understand what's going on here. Makes zero sense. That's hilarious. Now it's looking basically correct. Well, there's only one way to know for sure, and that's to simulate it. Okay, so we get 300 watts at Venus. That's fine. Now let's antenna plan this. No connection. That's interesting. How do we have no connection at Venus? Oh, because I'm on the wrong antenna. That's why. Maybe. No, I already had the right antenna selected. Parabolic antenna. Does it have to be extended? No. This is confusing. There we are. Okay, so I guess we just have low transmission at maximum range. But given Venus's solar year length is fairly short, we expect it to spend a fair portion of the year closer to the min distance than the max distance. Make that a little wider. I mean, it doesn't really matter, right? Like, whether I'm far or near, like, I'm not going to launch at a different time, and I'm not transmitting that much data from the lander, and the orbiter can take its sweet time to transmit. Okay, so let's try to validate our landing design. Venus, orbital altitude, call it 1,000 kilometers. Oh, I don't know what inclination we want. Let's try that. Yeah, and I can control the orbiter lander Earth alignment by changing my pericytherion. Yeah, I know about that. Okay. What tech reference frame am I in? Oh, I'm in ECI. Lol. Why does Principia think we're... Whatever. All right, now we have comms. Now I need to hack gravity so that I can add approximately 3,000 there and then a bunch down. Okay, that should work. Now, flight plan, create flight plan, add a maneuver in BCVF. 6 minutes. Call it 5 minutes. Orient to the node. Spin up a bunch. The double dishes, one is for Earth and one is to give comms for the lander. Uh, but my onboard is UHF, and I want an S-band relay for that. Like, I guess I could have flown with no onboard UHF at all, but this was fine. And also, I need the symmetry anyway, since I don't know where to. I don't know where I would put a single antenna. I guess I could put a single antenna on the side and then mass balance it somehow. Why are we still playing space music? Even though we're in the atmosphere, that's weird. But I remember that from my previous campaign. Something weird about Venus. Okay, easy peasy. Didn't need very much ablator. And then 5 years later, we'll actually land. Probably spun up a little bit too much. Yeah, so this heat shield has much lower conductivity. Oh yeah, my relay is about to cook in the atmosphere. Yeah, I probably should have spun up to only like 30 DPS instead of like 150. But I wanted to be sure that reentry would go well. And this is the part of the playthrough where I always wish I'd installed better time warp. Note that I did not include parachutes, so we might impact going too fast, but we'll see. Yeah, this probe does look kind of like a sombrero. I think I probably do need to have packed chutes. Well, we'll see. Okay, so it's about 3 or 4 minutes, even at 4x warp. Still to come. I don't know about this. Yeah, I need to pack chutes. Especially because there's no guarantee that we'll land here rather than somewhere with even higher elevation. We'll see how much the collision slows us down, but probably both things will poof. almost going to make it, but not quite. This descent took less time than I figured, actually. Because we warped like at least a half an hour. Did we warp? No, I didn't warp at all. Oh, that was interesting. Was the impact tolerance really that high? Why is the impact tolerance that high? It shouldn't be that high. But we landed on Venus in a sim. Still going to add parachutes, though. Don't need much drag. Just need a few more meters per second. Yeah, 12 meters per second impact tolerance. That's pretty high. So, itty bitty baby parachute. Venus, drogue, drogue. Change material to Kevlar. Calculations mode, manual, input craft mass. Zero 5, wanted speed at target altitude of 7 meters per second. Target altitude is, call it 7 kilometers. 2 parachutes used. Pre-deploy at 200 meters. Deploy at 100 meters. Okay. So at a cost of 8 kilograms. We'll have parachutes. Except now I have to sim the reentry again because we just altered it. I guess I could put the stack mount chute on, but don't think it can be small enough. Well, uh, sorry, why would I want to change the antenna band? I'm happy with the antenna band. No, it was set correctly in the sim. I wanted it S-band. It was relaying through the S-band, one of the two S-band antennas here. Squirrel was suggesting a different methodology, but I'm reasonably happy with the current one. Okay. The next question is, can we get this thing to Venus? I mean, we'll just keep reducing the propellant loading until we can, but it'd be nice to know that we can get this to Venus. Oh, we did warp because we needed signal. So yeah. Right, this time I will pay closer attention. And we're in ECI. Okay, now we have comms, that's fine. Now, back gravity. So our orbital velocity is 6788. And we expect that our ending velocity will be, oh, they're close enough. Right, because Venus doesn't rotate much. So that 3,300 into that is 10.1 kmsec. Okay, so this is a little faster than we're arriving. Cool. Now, create a flight plan. 6 minutes. Yeah, that's correct. It's a line. It's not damping. Okay, let's target that. Good enough. Okay, so entry at 35 minutes. Whee! So 3 minutes to decelerate to subsonic from escape velocity. And I guess we'll try to go through this long process again. Oh, now we're upper atmosphere of Venus's highlands. So we have an even truer test of the parachute. And down and down and down we go. Taking forever. Down and down and down. Okay, this is actually not taking as long as I thought, at least on the clock. I mean, it's taking interminably long for me to sit here and wait, and you all watching to sit here and wait. But it has only been 20 minutes or so since atmospheric entry. And see, this is why I set it to 7 kilometers, because we're at like almost 7 kilometers elevation. 5.5. So another 3 minutes or so. Ten kilometers. Most of the ablator's still there. So yeah, we could come in way hotter. It'd be fine. Hopefully we don't roll down the hill. We'll see. Right. So we're at 35 minutes since entry. Which means we want to budget 45 minutes in case we're going to go all the way down to reference altitude 0. Okay, here we come. Landed. Okay. So I declare this a great success. And we have a battery life of 1 day and 11 hours, which it's not actually going to be true because we're going to separate about a day first, a day before entry. Okay, the Venus window, 3877. So we'll want 4 kmsec at least in low Earth orbit. The heck was that about? How did it crash? What is with this? Ever since the last release of everything, it's busted. Let's try that. Oh, and also action group these things. It just got repositioned way the heck lower than it should have been. That makes no frickin' sense. Okay. This maneuver is ejection inclination 28.5. 28.5, 15.6. One. Oh, right, of course, that's true. Okay, let's see what happens. In particular, the reason why we're launching to a LAN is because it's going to involve a slight LAN correction maneuver from PVG, which will make Ascent slightly more expensive than it otherwise would be. Well, apparently I hilariously underlofted that. So yes. I guess if I'm really short on performance, I can use the algols. Wait a minute. That can't be right. "41 meters tall"? Really? But I've flown this thing before. How is it calculating that? That's deeply strange. So that's 39.6. So why is this failing? Core stretch, probably? Yeah, core stretch. Because I stretched the core. That's why. Okay, apparently I did not have a large enough integration facility. Can we shrink this some? Yes, it will require tooling bearings, but that's a small price to pay for not having to modify the launch complex. Yep, okay. Okay. But yes, we will have to modify that launch complex at some point to take full advantage. Try again. Okay, so we need another 200 meters per second or so on the launch vehicle, looks like. Man, I still underlofted it. Okay, so we might actually be okay. We won't need much more performance. Yeah, so we'll actually have enough delta V, but no margin. So I'm still going to have to make some changes. A better ascent would help, but won't help enough.
Hey again.
Hello. So the little sombrero lander worked fine. Sadly, launch vehicle isn't quite capable enough.
What was the sombrero lander? Maybe I didn't see it. Or was that the one from last session?
So I changed it from a cylinder to a smooth cone.
Gotcha.
So it's got the heat shield and then the little smooth cone avionics on top. So it looks like sombrero.
Nice.
But I simmed it into Venus. Found it really needed a parachute, just in case. So put a parachute on it.
Sort out your radio.
I'm gonna stick to the original approach.
Okay.
Use S-band and expect it to only last. Because like, if I detach about a day before Venus arrival, and it's got a day and 12 hours of battery, and then I set up the actual orbiter to arrive, 4 hours later, then I'll be able to transmit everything fine.
Yeah, that's true. It's a lot of delta V off your orbiter, but
It's
maybe
not
that's better.
4 hours isn't a lot if you're coming like from the edge of the sphere of influence.
Oh, but if you're at the edge of the sphere of influence, it's way more than a day to get back to perihelion, parascythine.
I mean, just doing the math on it, to travel my hunch is that it's good, like it's going to be okay. Especially because it can, like, it's capturing, so it can, like with a high enough parasitherion, it it will be over the horizon for a chunk of time. So let's see, how much data are we talking about here? 150 bytes, 1150 bytes, and then the TV camera is the one that's a lot.
Yeah, putting a TV camera on there, that makes more sense where we're using S-band.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got the delta V on your orbiter to increase your periapsis, I'm just going to call it periapsis, high enough, then you're fine.
I mean, I have 2.4 camsec on the orbiter, so I'm not too worried about delta V.
After you capture?
No, before I capture.
Okay.
And the capture is going to be about probably 1800 camsec. You get down to something low enough to be reasonable.
Yeah. So you spend a little bit to lower it down to drop the lander, and then bulk of it to raise.
I don't spend anything to lower it because it's like a 5 centimeter per second course correction burn to lower it.
Okay, yeah. your parathene is that low during capture?
No. Basically, no. So I'm coming in, and I'll come in with a pericytherian of like 95 kilometers. A
Right.
day out, detached, or even less than more than a day out, like a day and.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're so never mind. Yeah, you're already aero capturing on that trajectory. So yeah, you don't need to lower.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not trying to capture into orbit first and then drive. If I were, then I'd be packing multiple landers. But I'm not. Although, honestly, the thing is so light that maybe I should just capture first. It only decreases my delta V by about 200 meters per second. And then I can take a bunch of landers.
Depends how over provisioned your rocket is.
It's not. My launch vehicle is not actually capable of doing this yet. Let's see. So we're talking about 5192 kilobits, and at where are the positions of Venus and Earth? 21 March 1966. Uh, Horizons web app. Let's see. Target body, Venus. Observer location, Earth. Time is 1966. Oh 0321. Okay, and Earth and Mars.
I wonder if Kerbalism 4 does data storage.
Uh, I mean, is that a? Yeah, I guess that's a Kerbalism thing, not a real antennas.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Date. Oh, that's giving me. Oh, I don't care about right ascension. I care about distance between the bodies. Um, yeah, I don't have time to figure out how to read horizons, so. Gonna hope that it's closer to closest approach than conjunction. I mean, I guess for
Your,
sorry.
should be unless you're transfer is especially strange.
Travel time's 115 days, so yeah, it's probably going to be a closest approach.
Yeah, you should be off by 30 degrees.
Sorry?
I said you should be off by 30 degrees or something like that.
Yeah. 30 degrees is fine. Ooh, I like that best station is now an option.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so okay. So it will take 33 minutes to transmit at closest approach. It will take stupid quantities of time to transmit further away than closest approach. Given that the experiment itself only lasts an hour, and it's transmitting in 33 minutes, like, that's fine. So it really isn't going to be a problem unless we're down to like wherever we hit the halfway point there in terms of bandwidth. Let's look at
No, it's fine. Like if you have a couple hundred meters per second of delta V to raise your orbit, then you'll certainly have like a few hours over the couple hours over the lander. If you're in a 1 day orbit, sorry, that's a 2-day orbit. Sorry, for your orbiter.
Yeah.
Making that a 2-day and 8-hour orbit is not that expensive.
Oh yeah, I mean we could just do it that way too.
I thought that's what you were doing.
No, like I'm like the lander won't last past capture. So everything has to be transmitted before the orbiter goes over the horizon.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
Oh, sorry, but you were talking about like a 2-day orbit or something.
Well, you're dropping off the lander, so it's 1 day until the lander lands,
yep.
Right? And you're dropping it off your apoapsis for that orbit.
No, I'm dropping off the lander before capture.
Okay.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Like we arrive near Venus and
sorry.
Yeah. Like it's not that expensive to drop it off to capture first. Like it will save. So if I reroute.
So yeah, okay. Then I don't know. I'm back to I don't really understand how this. I guess you can burn radial out to change when you would capture enough. Never done that.
No, you burn retrograde. Yeah, this maneuver I've done all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, basically when you enter the sphere of back in patch conics, when you enter the sphere of influence, you burn mostly retrograde and slightly radial out, because burning purely retrograde will lower your periapsis.
Yeah. It would be the atmosphere.
Yeah, and it doesn't take more than maybe 100 meters per second to gain you a bunch of time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see that now. Especially since you're pretty far away from the planet. Yeah, because you're coming in hyperbolic, so that's why it's only a day until you. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, I hadn't pictured that, but yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense now. Thanks.
Cool. Yeah, no, that was back in the days of remote tech. That was always my strategy because you had to have the craft live until landing to have the signal delay such that you could then extend the antenna once you landed, and then you could switch vessel back to the orbiter and capture, and then you could switch vessel back to the lander and do your science.
Okay. Yeah.
There's probably me on YouTube doing that from like 5 years ago.
Probably.
uh, okay, this is going to be fine. All right. Now I just need to get another couple hundred meters per second on the launch vehicle, which I assume is going to involve switching to algols. Yeah. Close that. Also, you'll note that I'm at 39.9 meters out of 40 meters. I had to shrink the fairings to fit.
You'll recall that I cannot read such data, but yes, thanks for the
Yeah.
info. I could barely read that stuff even when I was on my PC with max resolution. It's just...
Yeah. Oh, I can use caster 2s. Right.
If you want to.
Yes. That will solve this problem. 15,734.
My recollection is that caster 2s are not that much better than caster 1s, but doesn't sound like you're that far off.
Yeah, that didn't actually help much. Wait, do they just not provide as much thrust? Or is MechJeb wrong about their thrust?
Should be around 300 kilonewtons each. But maybe 350.
Yeah, so they don't actually produce more. Yeah, so our thrust to weight ratio went down slightly because they produce about the same amount of thrust, but they're heavier.
And they just burn a lot longer.
Yeah. But I think this is still probably going to be enough to get us the performance we need.
Probably. Wish there was an algol too.
There is.
There is. All right. Wish there was an algol too that was easier to get to.
Yes, that's fair. Yeah, it's a good few further tech nodes up.
Oh, there's a thing if you ever wanted a rabbit hole instead. Proc solids.
Yep. Yep. That would be pretty cool. Like the small end rather than the large end, honestly.
Yeah, I mean both, but small end for sure is more important.
Yeah. All right, let's try this. Huh? What's the... What is up with that? Why did we not actually launch?
Oh, it looks like my screen froze. Nothing's... I thought you were still in the editor.
Waiting liftoff. There we go. Yeah, so the reason we didn't launch was because MechJeb did not throttle us up. But like what I actually meant by why didn't we launch is why did MechJeb decide that could not get a solution? And the answer is I don't know why it decided that.
Odd.
Yeah. That's indicative of... So NASA fixed an issue with PVG and the launch to LAN. So...
NAT's bug. Nice.
No, that was fixing a bug. And that's basically symptomatic of what PVG would do before that was fixed.
Uh-huh.
Oh, now we've got a... Okay, now that's better. That exception was caught.
Oh no, I just like the fact that a bug from NASA got transcribed and...
Sorry, no, not NASA, NASFIB.
NASFIB, oh, okay.
Yeah, who made the updates to the transfer window planner.
Gotcha. I wonder if there's enough data out from like early military stuff to have a lot of data points for smaller solids. Certainly isn't enough data to like really do a good curve fit for procedural solids just from rocketry.
I mean, like it doesn't really, the size doesn't matter quite as much. Like you're like the pressure vessels, you're broadly scaling up proportional to the volume, so.
Yeah.
Okay, looks like that did give us the performance we needed. Still don't know why that's flickering back and forth. That's another weird issue in PVG that's only happened recently. So Ricksaw, if you're using PVG and turn coast off, then your engines won't be shut down. Like that sounds like you're maybe not using the right settings for MechJeb. In fact, PVG will never shut down a burning engine. The coast is between stages. So yeah, it looks like that did give us enough performance, although I'd really like a little bit more margin, given that our ejection is 3877 and this is 3915. Like, we'll... So, Ricksaw, you will be literally the only person who has ever used PVG that it happens to, if it happens to you. Because all the rest of us, it doesn't do that. Which is why I think it is a configuration issue on your end. Like, we're not talking about maneuver execution or anything else. We're talking about ascent guidance with PVG. If you don't have fixed coast length checked, then you'll have a bunch of problems anyway. As the pin in the PVG channel says, you have to leave that checked, whether you have 0 or some other coast length. Then I suggest posting in the MechJeb PVG channel on Discord, and folks can figure out what's up. No, there's a MechJeb setting that says when you click disengage autopilot to leave the throttle, whatever it was. That's the setting you're thinking of, Squirrel. The other thing that you, so Ricksaw, the other thing you might be running into is notice keep limited throttle over. Make sure that's checked. If that's not checked, then MechJeb will happily try to throttle you down if you have any of the limits checked, and will not respect the fact that your engine can't be throttled infinitely. Okay, now that number will start to tick up again. Yep. As mixture ratio issues fall away. But I'm still going to want to do something to give me more margin. Given that usually when I'm creating the Principium maneuver, it's not quite what Transfer Window Planner is telling me it will be.
Or your orbit altitude a bit.
Yeah, I mean the time to orbit is so long that won't make a huge difference. Like, it's 12 minutes to orbit, give or take. That'll make some difference.
Yeah. I mean, you're not looking for a lot of margin.
True. Yeah, if it saves me 30 meters per second, that's probably fine.
Yeah, you'll certainly get that out of going from 185 to 160.
Yeah, given how, given that took 9.3 km/sec to get there, that is very expensive.
Well, you do love your Centaurs.
It's not even a Centaur in that case. Like, basically, what would be far more optimal than what I have is 3 engines on the first stage instead of 2. Like, that would solve the whole problem.
Yeah.
But the fact that I'm limping to orbit with 2 is the heart of it. Oh, there's the Algol 2. When does Algol 2 unlock? Let's find out. Algol 2 requires... Oh! Solids 1962. We already have the Algol 2.
Oh, okay. There you go. I do find the Algols to be one of the best price to benefit engines out there.
Yeah. Not sure I have the... Probably don't have the tonnage margin for it.
What's your margin?
Yeah, I'd have to shave 5 tons off the core to put 3 on.
You only need 2 on to replace 4 casters.
I mean, I guess that's true, but the problem was I didn't have enough performance, so I wanted to go up a little. Okay, so we're at 15,759. Oh yeah, that's right. They don't have nodes. And we need to get rid of 7 tons off the core, which will lower delta V, but not that much because it'll be faster to orbit. Okay. Yeah, this should prove better. Come on, show up. Okay. Guess I didn't have to tweak the fairings, given that that took a meter off the height. Yeah, tooling saves 4 days. It's probably worth it.
Yeah, especially with paying engineers.
Yep.
Tooling
Exactly.
benefit grows a lot.
Yep. Okay, so this is definitely going to have enough performance, but let's just take a quick check. Okay, let's try that. And guess we still want to decouple them at 0.1 seconds. We'll see how that works. The heck? Oh.
What happened?
Somehow we shot up to 180.3 tons, so we didn't have avionics. So the engine shut down.
Your avionics only 180.
Yeah. I mean, my launch complex is 180. Yeah, this claims 179.884. Oh, I bet it's including the mass of the launch clamps in flight. Bet that's what's going on. That is a bug that that I will need to fix in module AV in the control locker in RP-1. Which, like, I probably should actually fix in mainline and then rebase. Okay.
But it automatically ignored anything that was the launch clamp part module in there.
But these are not launch clamp part modules.
Gotcha.
They have the tag that treats them as such, but they don't have the launch clamp part module. And I thought I checked for the tag now, but so I'm just gonna do the infinite electricity thing because I'll fix that bug later. Yeah, I don't check. Heh. It's just, is it a launch clamp? So, yeah, that's a bug. I'll fix that bug. Hoist on my own petard of liking pretty launch clamp setups.
Well, this is why you eat your own dog food.
Yes, it's weird because technically all of that stuff should have decoupled already, but
yeah.
Control Locker hasn't updated the vessel at the time that it decides to lock the controls when the clamp decouples, I guess. That's super weird. Like, it should already be taken care of just because, oh. Maybe that's the ordering, maybe the ordering matter? I don't know. Doesn't matter, we're just gonna fix it this way.
It's the umbilicals you're talking about, right?
No, it's the whole structure.
Whole structure, really? The whole structure is super, super light?
The whole structure is not super light. And that's what's... Oh yeah, maybe it's the... Yeah, I don't know quite what was going on there.
Because you said there was only 400 kilos over.
Yeah, like so... There was some race condition in the decoupling.
Okay.
Because there's nothing on here that has a sample, so there's nothing on here that'll be heavier than...
Yeah.
Man, algols make a huge difference.
There is a reason I like them.
Yes.
Also because they're cheap.
Yes. Okay, well that was not a good pitch program. Got a 14-degree pitch down.
Well, yeah, you need to adjust because you.
I did adjust. I didn't adjust enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went from my pitch start at like 40 meters per second down to 15 meters per second. That still wasn't enough.
Another reason I like algols. Praise
Sorry?
of algols is I said another reason I like algols is that they tend to drop you off. They don't. If you put on too many of them, your ascent isn't so spicy that you're gonna burn up in very low atmosphere. But they do put you in like a really good place to kink the curve above 20 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, go on.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's separation velocity over 2 km/sec, so that's nice.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's a much healthier ascent.
Yeah.
And that is about 200 meters per second of margin. In practice, it'll be 250 to 300. So basically, no matter what crappy maneuver I have to pull, we'll be fine. So yes, that looks good. So Squirrel, that sounds like if you're trying to do that, it sounds like your best bet is basically a Titan II Centaur. Is going to be cheaper than what you've got with the liquid hydrogen core. So basically, this would.
Centaurs are not the solution to every problem.
I mean, they kind of are, though.
Not really. Not if you're. I mean, not if you're looking for the minimum cost rocket to put something, especially in just geostationary.
Yeah, I mean, like if you yeah, you could put like a half a trans stage on top. Basically delta K or something, or delta
There
P.
are also non-US solutions that are cheaper.
I mean, yes. Like your actual solution probably involves a 11D33.
Possibly. Depends where I am on the tech curve, but yes.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and build this. Oh, I forgot to tool. Bye. Okay. So there's our Venus orbiter landers.
It's just that the RL-10 is so expensive that the typical advice of, it's better to make your upper stage more expensive to make your lower stage cheaper is outweighed by the fact that it is so expensive.
Yes. Yeah, it is stupid expensive. That's true. Okay, so that's all fine. We've got this in 17 days. And Mariner 6 is arriving at Mars in 150 days. don't actually need to build these yet, given that we have 240 days, and it's only going to take 130 days to build them. But we'll have them on hand.
Even if you're just going for US tech, finding a way to get an LR87 H2, ride that up for most of the way, and then have something for a trans stage is cheaper than a Centaur or an approach Squirrel.
Really? A single LR87 LH2 and a big fat honkin' Hydrolox core is going to be cheaper than two RL10s and a small Hydrolox stage?
Well, no, not like, for you still have to have boosters to put it up there, and you still have to have a trans stage, but the LR87 is significant. I mean, the performance is not that much worse. The TWR is massively improved, and yeah, like you don't want to depend on it for most of your thrust, but if you need the performance of Hydrolox or anything, that's the place to go to. If you're looking for price to performance benefit.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm using for for Gemini orbital, lunar orbital. But my thought was that that fat core is more expensive than just the Centaur stage, just because the Hydrolox tankage is so expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I monkey around with what tank that I'm actually using on top of there.
Yeah, yeah. If you do it with like
you don't want to use something.
SEP aluminum copper is probably enough cheaper than isogrid that you went out. Okay, guess we'll fly another Gemini flight.
UA1204s are expensive enough that I tend to avoid them.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Also, I find that a solid that burns for 2 minutes, you're losing a lot of the benefit you really want out of solids.
I mean, what you get out of that is basically a rocket stage that has a higher liftoff thrust to weight ratio than you would with a liquid stage.
Yeah, but in my world, I always want a liquid stage core
and short burning solids.
Medium burning solids.
Yeah.
The alcohol, for instance.
Yes. Yeah, I mean it's not a coincidence that like the modern Gem 60s and AJ20 and AJ whatever they are on Delta and Atlas are basically in that class.
Yeah.
Although I think they do burn for like a minute and a half or something. But it's because the core burns for 4 minutes.
That's true, but also, I mean, their ISP is risen high enough that that it makes sense for them to burn longer. Like it's a comparison of burn time to ISP that also dry mass of those that determines what the ideal burn time for them really would be, because you want something that's going to give you a lot of punch at the pad to minimize your gravity losses, but not so much punch that you're going to burn up at 10-12 kilometers.
Yeah.
Which was also why like I suggested last time, a really nice solution is the mix of casters and algol sort of system.
Yeah.
So that you can really shrink your gravity losses a lot. Fortunately, without proc solids, can't really build big rockets off of that sort of thing. Not without them looking extremely stupid.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a lunar window April 14th at 1930. So on April 10th, we want to launch. And that means we want to be on the pad April 9th at 1930 or so. Squirrel, you probably just for optimization reasons want the star 37 because you're sec.
Sorry, what?
My headphones are. I need to deal with my headphones. They were starting to die.
Oh yeah, where's?
Yeah, these headphones are like 6 years old, 7 years old. They're ancient. Yeah, so Squirrel, I think trying to expect a hypergolic pressure-fed stage to give you 4 kilometers per second of delta V, 4.3 kilometers per second of delta V is really a bit much. So I think you'd be better with a solid. 4.3 kmsec on such a high structural coefficient stage is just bad news.
Yeah, definitely is.
Okay, so on the 9th.
It's your trans stage, Squirrel.
That seems bonkers. What the heck is it that it's giving you 5 kilometers per second? It's actually giving you more than 5 kilometers per second because that's pessimistic about mixture ratio variation. Okay, I guess let's go land on the moon.
It's the AJ10 138.
That is the first config of the AJ10 Advanced.
Right.
Like, Squirrel is talking literally about a trans stage.
Yep. Payload must be really light if you're getting 5 kmsec off that. Or you're doing something weird, like is that 2 stages or a drop tanks or I don't know.
Payload is probably 400 kilograms. So I guess that's right. It still seems a bit much, but I guess that's right.
Yeah, but your dry mass must be one at least.
Yeah, so that's e to the 1.616. Yeah, mass ratio of 5. I guess that's fine. Yeah, I mean, that works out. I would have expected a higher mass ratio, but I guess that's right. All right, let's target the moon.
What did he say is the mass ratio? I don't see it in chat.
No, I just calculated it.
Okay, what is it?
It's about 5. It's e to the 1.616 something, which is about 5. That's nice. We'll actually have light for where we're landing. 281.73.
Is that you?
Yeah, it's my headphone. There, headphones back now. So, sorry, I missed if you said anything in the last minute or so. 285 point. Ugh. I think I actually want to wait one more day here. Because we'll pay the slightly higher capture. Because going at 3 hours, so 3 hours and 33 minutes. Means another 45 minutes, so call it 4 hours. 4 hours from now is just into the 10th. So it's almost 5 days. So yeah, we have to wait. We have to wait a day. So let's try this. Oh, oops. Yeah, I want that inclination. I was wrong about the inclination. Okay. Given the success landing last time, this should be reasonable. I'm going to let it run. I'll be back in 1 sec. Okay, as far as I can tell, my headphones have not been freaking out. So we have a little bit of life left in them. Plenty of delta V to get to the moon. Yeah, 1.6 km/s separation velocity, which is slow. Whoops, I guess the inclination didn't take. Oh well. So we'll end up in a reasonable amount of inclination with respect to the moon. But we can fix it based on the capture, I guess. It was interesting to have an evening launch. Usually I have dawn launches. Or just night launches straight up.
Yeah, I do like that. There's some great visuals here.
Yeah. Yeah, scatter is so good.
Wonder when we gotta get those volumetric clouds into RO.
I mean, they have to exist at all first, except in the dev version. Yeah, but that'll be real nice.
Dependent on you or us. I meant.
Yeah, that'll be real nice.
Definitely have to add some more plane contracts then.
Yes. Okay, now go to MEO. Give it, maybe 3150. That's interesting. Definitely a high inclination with respect to the moon.
Yep.
See if that will make any difference. Doesn't seem to. Okay, that's a little better. Not tons better, but a little better. Yeah, I do not like how expensive that is. 3,200 meters per second. Let's see how expensive a capture will be. Oh, wait, I'm in the wrong maneuvering frame. That's better. Yes, that's way better. We can make this rather cheaper. Okay, I think that'll be okay. And just for the sake of argument, two days, 23 hours. That's a hot transit. I wonder if I can... Yeah. Let's make this rather cheaper.
Did the Squirrel, did the AJ-10 138 fly on the Titan?
Yeah, it's Titan 3C. Yeah, the Titan Transstage was, that's what the AJ-10 138 was used for. It's the third stage on Titan 3C. Now we have much better inclination. Yeah, I just had the maneuver set up wrong. There we go. And Squirrel, if you can't fit two of them in that diameter, I would make an issue in RO engines and point it at Kirk. Kirk just fixed an issue with the RD-170, and that sounds like a similar one. Probably the issue is that the model that we have is the AJ-10 118K and not the 138. That could be it.
Or the other way around. So from what I'm reading, the 138 has a diameter of 1.53 meters. The 118K was 0.84. And I'm looking at the cutaway of the Titan 3C. Those look closer to 1 meters than they do like 1.5 meters. So something is wrong here. Because you wouldn't expect to fly two 1.5 meter bells in a 3 meter.
Yep.
Yeah.
That seems wrong.
They would be touching each other.
Yes. Okay. So cool. I was trying to get to the moon too fast. Now that I slowed it down, it's actually correct in 3.5 days. There we are. Let's warp until we're reasonably close to the maneuver. I have us oriented butt towards the sun to minimize boil off.
Well, this other picture I found, they do basically look like they're touching each other, so I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks about right. So yeah, about 1.5 meters for the bell sounds right. I think the reason why that diameter is so off for the AJ-10 118K is either because it's an earlier 118, like the 118E, or because it's before the nozzle extensions. Here we go. Turns out we didn't need any binormal at all. Looking good. Whee! Oh, we overburned that time. Okay, we'll capture at 100 kilometers. Looking good. Deploy the solars. Deploy the magnetometer. Align with the sun. Okay, we're in coast configuration. Squirrel, I was just saying tag him. Okay, let's go ahead and warp until we're near the moon. and add a maneuver minus, oops, we want MCI. In 29 minutes. Oops, wrong way.
What?
There we go. Sorry?
Nothing, never mind.
Okay, that's close enough. Squirrel, I'd be surprised if you could do it on Titan 3 either. Like, in reality, it used two UA-1205s. Like, with Titan 3 engines, you should be just able to launch with the thing. But I doubt you'll be able to send much of anything to GEO. Hello, Moon. If you want to do it on a Titan 2 pad, you have to use Hydrolox, I think. To put for the GTO payload that you want, you'll need Hydrolox, 100%. That's a reasonably long capture burn.
What engine was that?
That's the 2 kilonewton thruster.
Oh. Should its exhaust be pink?
No, but it wasn't. It was the usual hypergolic, slightly purplish orange.
Okay.
Okay, so let's look at MCMF. And bring up MechJeb's landing information. So the Earth's over there. So literally any of this stuff will be fine. Let's land in Mare Tranquillitatis. Sure. Why not? Very fitting.
What's that?
To land in the Sea of Tranquility.
Ah. Yeah, sounds like a good capstone for a Saturday evening.
Yep. Okay. I think that'll be fine. To put the periselene there. Okay, now one more maneuver. Which is in 50 minutes and minus 800. Here we go. Whoops, I think we overwarped slightly. There's the prediction coming closer and closer and closer. Let's retract that. Oh, and I need to rename this. Hello, Save Tranquility. We're now down to 13 kilometers. That's kind of bad news.
Well, you can always pitch up a little bit if you're.
Yeah, but the we're not. I can't pitch up too much or we'll overshoot.
That's true.
But I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah, you always give yourself enough margin.
I think we'll be okay. Here we go. Yeah, definitely needing to pitch up. But yeah, we'll be fine. Yeah, this is definitely coming in finer. How low is it reasonable to enlight a J2? I don't know, probably like 40 kilometers? That's probably still low, I don't know. Okay, this is definitely coming in tighter than last time.
Up.
Hmm?
Oh, I was just agreeing with you. I said, yep.
But that also means it's much closer to an actual suicide burn, so we won't waste as much delta V.
Yep. I don't remember you ever being quite this horizontal, this close to the ground, though, for a landing.
Yeah.
Ascending.
Yeah, I was ascending for a bit. I fixed it.
Yeah, sorry, I'm like on a 15
Yeah,
second
yeah.
delay.
No, it's fine. I used RCS down thrust to fix it. Here we come. Okay.
Actually, high noon there.
Yep. Successful landing. Contract complete. We landed on the moon. And let's turn this off. All right. That was a success.
Congrats. I go to sleep now. I imagine you are soon too.
Yep,
so.
I am also done for. And hey, Alex, you're coming just in time for me to quit, alas. But the ascent, so somehow ascent guidance was still in launch to land mode. I didn't notice that. That's why I had an abort button at the bottom. But that will do for me. So thank you for joining, Maxwell. Thank you everybody for watching. I'll catch you next time.
Thanks for having me. Good night.